All right, I'm currently on the line with Greg Moog. He's another musician that reached out about the interview sessions, so I'm going to go ahead and give him the chance to introduce himself.
How is everybody doing here? My name is Greg Moog. I'm the lead vocalist for the band White Crosses out of Minneapolis, Minnesota.
All right, well, thank you for taking the time to meet with me. Why don't we kind of start at the beginning? Tell me about what it was like for you to first encounter music. What was the environment like for you that really pulled you into making music?
You know what? Back when I was, I'd say 15 years old, um, I grew up playing athletics. I grew up as a lifelong basketball player, and when some medical issues began to occur, I found solace in music, and I always knew that I had a sense of pitch and also kind of a deep, um, loud voice, and um, I kind of transferred my energy over there, everything just kind of morphed over into a secondary realm, I guess, into adulthood. So, childhood, kind of version one, athletics. Was my first love, and then music was my second love going into adulthood. I guess my second chapter, I like to call it.
Okay, and so you mentioned that for this project you really focused on vocals, but as a brief tangent, was there ever a time that you also considered doing any sort of instrumentation?
So I also play guitar. I play guitar and I play bass guitar as well. And that was something that I was attracted to both instruments for at a very young age, as well. But vocals is kind of how I always, I guess, pluck things from the air. Is the way I like to, um, kind of just like channeling, I guess, is the way of, is the best way I put it. And so but the music piece of it, is a background accompaniment, right? And so um the vocals has always been the main thing, though.
Okay, so tell me about how that translated into creating and producing a musical project. Did you kind of individually record demos and put those out there, or did you immediately just try to start getting like a band lineup together?
I was a big grunge fan. I was big into the grunge music scene, and so I hooked up. I'm from the Chicagoland area. I'm not from the Twin Cities. I'm from the Chicagoland area, and so some of my fellow musicians down there, got together and played grunge music, right? From the time back in the mid '90s, and so that 95, 96, that was how that started, um, and it kind of morphed from that into some pop punk music in um yeah, in my senior year of high school, right? So kind of experimented with that a little bit, but it was always really leaning towards original music. I mean, it started with the covers, but I really really wanted to write music. Is what I really really leaned towards, was wanting to talk about how I was feeling, and get out kind of something that was being told to me from something else, if that makes sense.
Yeah, definitely. I follow that. Okay, so you mentioned that you moved up from the Chicagoland area. So tell me what it was like uprooting from one music scene and then getting started in a new music scene.
So yeah, I went to the University of Wisconsin Madison for 2 years, and knew that that wasn't going to be what I was going to do. Moved up here with the band, and after 2 years of going to school there, and moved up here with the band, and ended up winning a job. That band lasted, for 6 months up here in the Twin Cities, and broke up. And then I answered a j- I answered a newspaper ad in the city pages for a band that was looking for a vocalist, and it was influenced by Tool and the Deftones, was all that it said in the ad, and I answered the ad, and so um, that led me into the realm of winning the job for a band called Black Flood Diesel. It wasn't. It was a band that I started with, a good friend of mine, and that kind of got involved with the new metal revival, I guess, that came up out of Minneapolis, and so that was the band that I birthed here, um, in the Twin Cities, for 25 years, um, before this band, before White Crosses. And so, I've got a full catalog of music um, I I I have 8 albums of material that I've written, and it's just something that I don't know how that really came to be. It was just something that, yeah, I don't know how that really came to be quite honest with you. Um, it was an experience with that whole bit where, um, I guess you could ask me whatever you want about that.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, so let's talk about Black Flood Diesel for a moment. You mentioned that you guys were together for 25 years. You gained pretty significant notoriety in the Minneapolis music scene. Um, Transitioning from Black Flood Diesel into this new project, tell me about the 8 albums of material that you kind of used to inform the direction that you wanted to go in.
What it is that it's kind of a turning the page. It's a cleansing type of, well, that's exactly what it is. It's a cleansing experience for me. Um, there's several people that didn't make it out of that experience, um, of that 25 years, right? There's multiple that I know that were, were that I was very close with. There's several people that are still, kind of twisting in the wind, that, that I was very close with, and I'm lucky to be clean off of crystal methamphetamine. My sobriety is not perfect, but I mean, I don't really drink much anymore, and I smoke pot. That's about it. And so I'm healthy, and I'm going to be 47 years old this year. And so it's one of those things where I look back on that chapter of my life, and there's so much darkness in it, right? That the White Crosses is Black Flood Diesel. The sigil of it was always a red cross, and then White Crosses is symbolic of turning the page. And it's thrashier, it's more mature music, right? Um, it's heavier, and it's more mature songwriting, right? Uh, and I think it's just better. Honestly, I think it's just better songwriting. If I'm going to be frank with you, it, I was a kid then, and a lot of that stuff happened very fast. Um, I didn't really know what the fuck was going on then. Um, and if I knew now, then, if I had the tools in my bag then that I do now, I would be fucking the world up, right? And maybe it's a good thing that I didn't, right? Because I'd probably not be talking to you right now. But um, I guess the point is that it's kind of a trip to look back on things, and I'm just very grateful to be in the situation that I'm in right now, with this band and this project. And it's a very symbolic thing.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit logistically. Obviously, you had the material and the direction that you want to go in with this project. Tell me a bit about how you brought the people together and then started practicing, and what sort of direction that you kind of wanted everybody to be on the same page for.
So, effectively, we had the last Black Flood Diesel show, and it wasn't going to be the last Black Flood Diesel show. We had a show called Valhalla Fest, okay, and then it was just not really, if things weren't going real smooth for it, okay, and it was just kind of just sputtering or whatever, and if something told me, um, that this should just be the last show. It was 25 years, right? And something in the back of my mind told me that this should just be the last show. And so I just was like, you know what, screw it. I got a hold of Benji Hellberg, um, the guy that I started the band with, and we made amends. I hadn't seen him in 10 years. And he got on stage with us and played open wide for the last song to ever play. And that's how we went out. And that's how we ended. And for me, it was perfect. You know, I'm a very impulsive guy in general, and I don't, I don't think that I think everything should be planned out sometimes, right? Sometimes I think that there are forces that are at play that are beyond our comprehension, and sometimes I think that they take control, and it's just going to shift you into a different direction, right? Uh, and that was time. It was the time. And at 25 years, it was a great fucking run, but it was over. That band. Here's the thing with that band, man. It was it was what it was. It wasn't going to be anything different than what it was. It was never going to peak any higher than it did. And it's got great memories, and maybe we'll not play another show again, but it was never gonna do any more than it did. And for me to continue to, it was getting in the way of my newer stuff, is what it was doing. And now we're just cranking out new music. Okay. And it's the same guys that was in Black Flood Diesel. It's the same three guys that I was playing with.
Okay, so as you mentioned, this was really just kind of everybody that wanted to be involved in this project, making that next step to be focused on a more mature sense of songwriting.
Yep. And so at the time, it was a different guitar player, Dennis Curran, who used to be in this band Semtex. He's a good buddy of mine. Played in Semtex, played in this band Sound and Fury. I've known him for years, known him for a long time. He was in Black Flood Diesel at the time. Okay. Well, some health issues occurred, some time issue occurred. Okay. And a year and like 3 months went by. Okay. Well, we had committed to play Rockfest. And that was creeping up very quickly. And a change had to be made. It was not going to work. And so we had to make a change and brought back my longtime guitar player, Don Tinsley, who played with me for many years. He used to play with Rob Halford in the band Fight, and played with Black Flood for many years. And he's back playing with us now, in White Crosses. So yeah, that's the story. So it's myself, Don Tinsley, Albert Bourne, and Michael McCloskey, Chewy from the band 13th Step, also known as UFA. They changed their name into after at the end of their run in the Twin Cities, for the people who are local music heads around here.
So I already kind of know the answer to this question, but to give you that moment, was White Crosses able to make the Rockfest show?
Oh yeah. We made the Rockfest show, and we wrote. I mean, we got Don back in with like 2 or 3 months left to spare, and it was a grind. But we got an EP done, and we got merch done, and we got logos. I mean, it was a grind, but we got it done. And I mean, it was just rock solid tight. I mean, we were at each other's throats, you know. But I mean, we love each other, you know. So, and we've all known each other for years. We've maybe gotten to know each other a little closer again, but we've all been doing this shit for so long at this point.
Yeah, I suppose once you've spent that amount of time with somebody, especially like in the writing and music production environment, it really kind of becomes second nature, and people can read each other and anticipate what they're looking for.
Well, when you know somebody, it's kind of like the devil, to a degree. That it's just. You get used to somebody's fucking bullshit after a while, and that's with me too. That's with me too. They're used to my bullshit too, right?
Right, and that's where it kind of comes into that ability to be able to read the people that you're working with.
You sometimes just got to leave someone alone for a minute, right? But if the good music comes out, right? If the good music comes out and you're making the good music, I mean, we're a band, right? That's the whole point.
Yeah, so let's talk about that for a little bit. You mentioned that you do have your album ready to go. You guys are practiced and ready to start playing shows. So tell me about the shows that you have coming up.
So September 6th is our big Minneapolis. It's our first show in Minneapolis. We haven't played in the Twin Cities yet. So September 6th, Skyway Theater, Studio B. I booked the Skyway Theater as well. So I bring bands in there or whatever. It's going to be our first show in Minneapolis with the bands Beyond Forever. It's a Black Label Society tribute band. Some bad motherfuckers from the east side of St. Paul. Dead by 50. And then the Impossible Prom Kings, some fucking hungry fucking kids that are ready to, prove their worth. And so it's a good bill, man. I am, super happy about it. Really happy with my guys. And, overall, dude, just, I guess, artistically fulfilled. I could say, and then, yeah, so, yeah, that's the big one coming up here. Then there's a handful of other shows. We're going to be busy. We're busy coming up through the fall.
Okay, so tell me about where this is going. Tell me about where you kind of anticipate the future of this project.
That's a good question, man. I with music, it's something to where I'm really interested to see what the future holds with human beings in general, right? Um, it's a question, brother, that when I first got into this when I was 15, it was communicating with other people, right? Um, and if people come out to the shows, I want to write music, and I want to write music that slams people's fucking heads in, right? If the community stays tribal and people talk shit and there's no interest and it's kind of blah, you know what I mean? And everybody's, I've heard this before. Well, then guess what? I might find something different to do. I don't know. And honestly, I've been thinking about that, because I've been doing this, man. I'm going to be going on 50 years old, and I'm going to be doing this for 35 motherfucking years. You know what I'm saying? Um, and listen, I love writing music. I love writing music, but I need to feel like I'm connecting with people somehow. Okay. That's what I want to do, whether it be writing a book, whether it be, something. Okay. Um, it's, it's scaring me that people are losing the vibe is what it feels like.
Yeah, it's not a great state of affairs right now in the local Minneapolis music scene. Recently, I was told by a venue that they don't have slots for local bands.
It's difficult, man. I've been in the promotion end of it for the last year, the booking and the promotion for the last year. Okay. And I and this is not a slam on any this is just a state of the union. Okay. This is not a slam on any particular single band. It's almost impossible to get people out of the house. Okay. And it's difficult. And so like I'm almost begging people to come out and support, just even if it's something that they maybe normally wouldn't go check out, right? Go out because you like hard rock. Okay. Go out to the hard rock show like we used to. Okay. I know we're old or whatever, but go out and spend the $10. I ain't making shit. Okay. I can promise you that. It ain't like that. But what it does is it keeps the wheel rolling. Right. And it, it keeps the talent, because you never know what band is under that rock next. You never know. You never know. And that's the big thing, man, is I need to see people interested in hearing my fucking music, bro. I don't hear people I don't even see that many people wanting to hear my fucking songs that much anymore. And I'm writing good songs. That's the thing. I'm writing some of the best songs that I've ever fucking written in my life. And I don't see people giving a motherfucker. That's what's weird to me.
Yeah, it's really tough to get people engaged in the local music scene. I know that there are some out there that are super diehard about it, and God bless those people for keeping us all doing it. But on average, it's really tough to get people in the door.
Yeah, I'm telling you, I'm not blowing smoke up my own ass right now, my friend. I'm writing some of the best music that I've written in my fucking life right now. I'm not blowing smoke up my own ass. And people just don't care. They don't care because they have 5,000 things in front of their face to entertain them. It's not a me thing. It's not a Greg Moog so talented thing. It's a they've got everything in front of them to fucking look at, right? So
Yeah, it's just the state of the way things are.
yeah, so I guess I'm begging people to come out and support what's going on around here, just to keep it going, right? Um, and if that's the case, then I'll keep this going for as long as the wheels fall off.
All right, so you mentioned keeping connections with people. Tell me about where your social medias are. What are the links? Where can people find you and help with that engagement?
So I am up on Facebook as G Howard Moog. There's also the White Crosses page. There's I'm not really on Instagram so much. I mean, all of us are on Facebook predominantly. I mean, that's the platform that we run on for the most part. You can find us on YouTube. That is where we just put our stuff up, and then hopefully, I'm going to be picking somebody up to handle the shit for me, a publicist or someone, because I believe in the product and. Um, just will crank out some more material, is what I'm hoping to do. And get it out old school style, and just pound it, pound it, pound it. That's what I would like to do.
All right, yeah, absolutely. And I will definitely help support however I can and help promote.
Maybe get on Sirius XM radio. I've there's several bands that I've worked with, and Club Underground, whatever. That have had their shit on Sirius or XM radio, whatever. Not that difficult to do. I mean, those are some plugs um, that maybe I would probably try to get our stuff up there.
Well,
So
I'm definitely invested in helping to see our local music scene thrive. But right now, I always like to give the person I'm interviewing the opportunity to put out their last word. So, what is a message that you have that you want to share with other people?
you know what? I guess at this point, it's just with everything. The world is upside down at this point. I think it's pretty clear that um, really nobody has much of the right answers to what's going on. And so, what I try to encourage everybody is just not bite the bait, right? Don't bite the bait. I try to encourage everybody to stay out of all of the political fucking nonsense, one way or the other, because that's all that it is. And God bless everyone, and love and light.